Okay, inverter seller. Now this is going to be a little bit of a long clip as I've got a few things to say that you might be interested in as I speak about my life and I advertise it on YouTube, bits of it. Definitely the important things people need to know when it comes to our lives of what interferes with us and how we can learn through it. Plus a little bit of just chucking in my life. So it's not a 24/7 clip of me on a video. We pick and choose the best of what we can when we can and things like that. Now, you won't have to find all my channels, but what I've posted about this inverter is on this YouTube channel that I've got, A Way of Living. And so I want to talk about, hey babbers, of a few things that I do. I do all sorts of things. You may find that on the channel if you're interested in knowing any more information of what I do or the things I have posted about this issue when it comes to the inverter. Now, I've posted the best of my ability of what needed to be posted and to figure out the issues before I needed to make this complaint, where I'm now sending a video to you, the seller, to find out the issues and what steps I can do next. And so I'm going to quickly go and show you now from today, as I will be uploading this to you today, on the information and what I have done and tried to do since the comments I have sent you. I've already got a Wi-Fi device, as I've told you already, which I'll show you and hook it up. And I'll give you a quick show of what I'm talking about when it comes to this part of the issue. And I speak about all sorts of issues, including the law and other issues I've gone through, including bullying and harassment and death threats and stuff like that. I get deep into what I do, and I'm speaking about you at the moment as you've come into my energy, and I'm just trying to figure out the issues the best I can without children and my children interrupting my video right now. Hey, thank you. Now, this is a little playlist. Most of it is on private. All these ones on the top. Just a little rundown. This is mostly the time when I've gotten your inverter and the issues just up before it with the previous inverter. And some issues I've had when it comes to the solar and buying and shutdown issues and stuff like that. So anyway, let's go have a look at this inverter. What you need to see. Thought you need a quick rundown, as I don't like to have people too surprised for too long. And in your comments, you were talking about speaking to you first. It's good that I'm speaking to you first, but in a way, I've already spoken about this issue and have done some videos. So I've got your inverter plugged in now. Now, when you plug it in and out, I've videoed issues about that. Sometimes it sparks, sometimes it's not. Lately, that issue hasn't been playing up as much, like it's backfiring or too much static or something like that, which I've gone through when it comes to make sure that issue's not happening when it comes to the grounding. So, I better go turn the kettle on, give it a good load, show you what's coming in. But at the moment, TV, get in that. Which is actually pretty stable on there. Alright, we're going to leave there. Now I just got to go turn on the kettle to see what happens next. Now with the old one, I'd turn the kettle on, and if it's already at a stable area, which is meant to do, suck in, absorb what it needs to absorb when the batteries are charged up. That's just hot from the previous video I just did, but it took a bit too long, so I'm just doing this one now. And I had to wait for a few days. So I'll just get the kettle going, because that'll give us some power to show you what I mean by it not running properly. So if I get power all the time, see if it's low enough, I've noticed the system doesn't struggle too bad. But if I'm using a fair bit of power, decent amount of power, the system plays up. It should be absorbing more power. Now it needs more power. It's using now. And that's what it's doing when it goes to absorb the power. Right. Drop them right down. Don't give us anything. The power, the cloud went down a little bit of a nothing cloud then, but it's still sunny as I was showing you, and it just moves because you can see some light little patches. And yet it was doing that. It should be doing that. We're even lucky before that it was doing a basic float, as I've talked about in previous clips, that it doesn't malfunction that bad when the power's low. But when you want more power, it should be giving us 1.4. It nearly got up to it, 1.3, continuously. Now, like it was trying to show before with the float, how the float balance, which I'm about to show you what the old one does, how the old one can still do that float balance. So at the moment I've got this one they're both connected to the battery, the same lot of batteries, and this one here converts the batteries from DC to AC, as this one here, the conversion from DC to AC has died in it, but it still charges from solar to DC, right? And so I've been using both of them, as I've shown in the clips. But that's what it's doing, huh? All over the place. Besides the big sparks that are in the other clips about certain issues that I thought could have been. But it's always been like that, even when I had it plugged in, when it had all the solar panels on the roof. It was inside before the inspector turned up. But yeah, anyway, that's what it's doing. And I did a video about this doing this just before the inspector turned up. Now, the inspector could get to a point where you go, no, that's just too many issues. You know what I mean? That's what I feel when the inspector turned up. That this thing, I've got a brand new thing, and it's doing that, and I'm talking about certain issues of solar panels, right? And I'm not an electrician, right? I just know about things. And I do the best I can when I can, in safety reasons. And we need to know these things too, because without knowing the basics of things, which is what I've been talking about, that humans should have the knowledge and the basics, and we should have more power to do certain things and not get punished. We have to step in to stop fire hazards and stuff like that. And you've got to need to know these things. As we have a lot of dodgy equipment these days, and we have malfunctions in all sorts of areas that can't handle things that play out too long, like fires and all sorts of stuff. So people need to know a lot when you have those issues too. So now I'm just going to take the risk now, know what I'm doing, and being careful, and what I've talked about before. And it's about taking risk. I'm taking my own risk, and I shouldn't even have to do this, but yet I've got to do a video for you guys and to show a point, right? I could hire an electrician, but then that's more money, and if I did that, and that could cost a couple $100, they might even want to talk and fuck around for a while, right? And cost the whole inverter. So it's going to pull that out. So down there, so touching everything. Now this has been making a noise off and on with the connection. And going tick, 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 tick. It's been doing that, but it's not doing that as much lately, as it's not going to an extra static noise. as it should. As it's going in. And definitely when I've been just plugging in the negative. Now I've just unplugged it. If we plug the same thing in here and do the same thing, we should see results of what that one up there is meant to do. Oh, and just while this one's going, I'll show you the settings. I forgot to show you the setting that I've already changed the settings for the float. Try to get the max power out of the solar panels and that. This one has a similar setting. This one used to absorb too much and then overload and shut down. Talk about an overload. I had to change the setting, which is a balanced float setting, to bring in how much power it needed and that to make it work properly back in the day. So I get why I might have needed the Wi-Fi. Let's get this out for a second. It's not quite pushed in. Technically you need two hands for this because sometimes the screw here, you got to push the screw in to get it to grip. Let's go hold that. Screw it. Alright, now this one here, I've talked about it malfunctions. Once it gets going, it can do the charge from the battery to the solar to the battery, and that part works. So it's turned off now because it's solar. And it was automatically starting when I did it like this, and then after a few goes, it wasn't even that long, it decided to want to do the malfunction of 57, which is a power issue malfunction that it likes to do all the time. It gives you the same, and you look it up, it could be many problems, or it's just malfunctioning as it's been doing. So it malfunctions, and what I've got to do is got to come out and restart it. It doesn't want to come on. It used to come on nice and automatic, and then slowly just decided not even to do that. And I get this issue. So right now, automatic should have kicked in, and it come on, as it would have known that it needs to charge the batteries. So I'm just going to turn it off, turn it back on. Turn on the switch, turn off the switch, because if I leave it on, it'll go to do the conversion to house power and malfunction and blinker at me. So I just turned it off, and it hasn't picked up these. So now, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I've got to give it the wiggle and jiggle. So loosen it up a little bit. And look, gives it a wiggle and a jiggle. So I've shown you clips before about the wiggle and jiggle. Now watch, this is what it's meant to do. You can't see it. It's going up there. Oh, the sun's died off a bit, so it's probably not going to go as high. I'll have to wait a sec. Clouds. Yeah, just drop it down a bit. Better turn the kettle back on, make sure it's got full load as well, because it might have charged the battery. But yeah. Cloud, we're going to have to wait for you. Oh, a little bit more power there. Because the batteries are pretty full, so it's going to show you full load, show you full power. Hope this clip's efficient to see what I'm talking about and to be able to give you an answer if it's an issue to fix, that I can fix. Am I missing something? I'll quickly show you over. The issue could be, if you sort that out, hopefully it is, sometimes it is, oh, you just got to push this button, oh, I've had this before, you just got to do that, right? Could be that. I'll try to run around with a bunch of my ability of what I know with my standards, a human being, and how we install things. People install these things. I've installed them a few times. I had one in this caravan. This is why it's back in. It's where I started from, and did a caravan design for the house. And I've had issues when it comes to law and that style. They come and shut me down, not because I just had the problem with the inverter and I was talking about it, is because I'm not allowed to do these things to a house. When it comes to insurance and stuff like that, they can't cover for it, and other people have to do it. So, and I had issues, and so they decided to shut me down and asked me to remove it all. until I can get a professional to install it onto the roof. So I've decided to do this because I'm still deciding if I'm going to be moving very soon or not. So I'm just going to do this, and then if I decide to save up some money, I can get a professional and then and get it installed professionally so housing doesn't have any issues as I go through real estate. So that's why it's back out here as we have different laws when it comes to certain areas, and I'm going to have a caravan set up, and I'm looking up a caravan setup now. So I've got one in the caravan as if I'm going to move soon, I'm going to need it, and I'm going to have to do the steps with the caravan and have a dude to check out this once I've completed this and I've done all the right steps and finished off my caravan. So I'm still doing the caravan off. And that's why it's out here. And I've been doing tests ever since, and since then, and I've just hooked in a cable line to the house, like the house giving power to the caravan. I'm giving power from the caravan to the house with a couple of extension cords that are not connected, touching. It's just going into the house. A couple of extension cords and I plug into that. It's feeding that. That's how it's running, by 4 main lines of extension cords and one that runs out to it, and keeping to below 2,500 or 2.2 wattage when it comes to not overloading any extension cords. So keeping to its limits, right? Just like you plug into from a house to a caravan and try to keep to its limits, it's just the other way around. And I've been talking about how the normal people can do that, and they've got all sorts of clips on the internet about how we do these sort of things, and I've had issues here where people have, they don't like you doing certain stuff. But anyway, we're starting to get more sunlight, so I can quickly show you. There we go. And see how it creeps up to it? Oh, the sun's dying off a little bit. Just stay out for a second, sun. You see how balanced it is? It's not going up and down by 400, 500, 1,000 in some cases of a difference. Now the sun's just appearing. And it drops gradually. That's a balance. So this is all working. So what it's saying, how I see it, and it already did, but I made it better with the grounding. It was a little sparky, now it's really grounded, so we don't get any. All the panels are grounded off easy, everywhere's grounded. There's some issue with, like this one's got an issue, how it runs, but there's a malfunction, right? And so this one's running all beautiful in that area, but the other one's not. And so it shows that it's not the panels, isn't it? It's all plugged in. It's running. That's how it was when I got the unit. This was pretty much doing that. Actually, at the time, it was doing that, and it was still automatically coming on in the morning. I could get it to work properly in the house for a little while before it went from in the house out to here. So I talked about in other clips, and then decided not to. Everything just decided not to want to work with each other. I've been having actually a lot of issues. I've been talking spiritual about certain issues that can happen spiritually when we go through things in life. Or it can just be a coincidence. I've got a massive coincidence list of certain things happening in a short period of times. But there you go. And how things are opposite. So this thing here has an opposite problem than this. And when I got this worked what I wanted for this, but it doesn't bring in the solar properly. Opposite effect. No. So anyway, I have not opened it up. It hasn't been touched. I've learned that lesson about opening things up when it comes to the Ryobi, and how I try to get talk about if you video things and can we make it easier for you and make it better, like I'm talking about now. The settings are all fine in here, which we'll have a look now. The Wi-Fi, got the Wi-Fi module. In your Wi-Fi module, you have a similar setting when it comes to the balance, I've noticed. And so lots of people would need to know this when they go to do caravans and stuff like that. You need to get it to, so the basic people can know. Who know a bit, but the basics, like they know about changing oil of the car, changing the tyres, when to take it to the mechanic, all that kind of stuff. But they're not a mechanic, right? But they play around with the stuff. And that's the list. Videos? What's going on there? Internet? Internet's going. goes with the sun. That's just the list of the things I was just talking about, and how we try to get answers before I get this far. I don't know even that I had to get this far to a video. Right? But I knew certain things is why some things go on private. Sometimes go up for a little bit then on private, because I've got to find out some more answers, and I don't want to hurt anybody or any companies. Just trying to do the best I can and talk about what's going on in my energy. So let's just load up this. Now there's your solar unit. I don't believe it. I just wanted to go back to the unit flashing around. Sorry about that. It's just still getting all on your main page. That's right. Alright, if it's functioning, do a test that says it's all functioning. It won't tell you about anything. Just load these up. I don't like how this loads up. It takes a while. And I've had some malfunctions where I've changed settings and it wouldn't change. But that could be a Wi-Fi issue. Or a little bit of both where it comes to compatibility and stuff like that. But I've gone through a field where they've specialised in selling these type of things, and they gave me advice of the right one, as they believed that I was already looking at something that was wrong for the device, which I was showing from other advice. And they're weird. It's like going to the doctors and getting different opinions. They go, no. And so you got to try to fight who's trying to make money and who's bullshitting, for what? Who's right? Got to get different opinions. All right, now. See, I've got all the settings set like that. So let them load up and I'll show you what I've got the settings right. Can't change the time on this. So I figured that these are for several inverters, as I've talked about. Some of them can and some of them can't. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to this issue, for you sellers, you should be selling these Wi-Fi device modules with them. Shouldn't be buying them off other businesses unless you know what Wi-Fi module. If you can't sell it with it, you should be telling them exactly what they need to get with that Wi-Fi module. Otherwise, you're leaving a screw-up hole and a hole for scammers, right? Which is what I talk about when it comes to scamming, and I'm onto that field and do not like scammers. Nice one to load up. Or areas where scammers can infiltrate, which ruin it for everybody else, doesn't it? Alright, so there's the settings. Parallel mode. And that's pretty much all you can do when it comes to the solar panel issue that I'm talking about. Anyway, hope this helps. And I'm going to leave it like this for safety reasons. Like I said, when it's had issues of sparking and something's not going right, there could be a fire hazard. And so the part it is running right that I've looked at and checked out, it's safe to convert the power. There's been no issues. But when it comes to using the panels, I wouldn't want to use it until I find out this issue. It actually scares me, and no other unit has scared me when it comes to issues that are happening, as it could be a fire hazard and it's not acting right, and I've never had this problem before. And I'd like to know what your advice would be on that, unless we just need to get a new system either way. But it has not been opened or touched by me except this part here, as I've learned that lesson about trying to make things better, made things worse, by talking on video and certain things. Anyway, have a good one, and hope to hear from you soon. Oh, quick look. Engineers, make sure everything's right. It's not pretty, but set up, that's for the gauges. talking about. So it has two fuses here pretty much, safety spots, because one's the gauge one, and then there's a similar gauge one like that for the solar panels as well. Before they come into this, there's one of these. Anyway, good luck and let us know. Thank you.